to show you how to just create this entire application using local storage. So let me first explore you into the app. The first thing, I can just add a new user and it's his email, so gmail.com, and the age maybe 34, and then we do submit. Now we just get our user. We can just edit this user by changing his email address, for example, to AGA, and then we just submit. Now the user have been updated. We can just change the age back to 3, and then now it's edited as well, and then we can close this and create a new user as well. You can also delete this user and then remain everything as it was. Okay, the thing I just wanted you to explain before we do anything is the concept of local storage, because this can be kind of new if you're a beginner, but it's just quite simple thing. So you can simply consider local storage as a global variable that can be accessible through all the pages. So for example, to access the local storage, we use the local storage. The local storage, maybe it's a class, and then we do, for example, local storage dot set item, and then the first argument should be the item name. For example, the item name would be the name, and then the second argument should be the value, and then the value should be make, for example, my name, and then press enter. Now if you want to access this new item that we've set, so you need to do local storage, then we do .get item, then the item is called name, then we just add that name. Now we just get the result, and this is the same thing that I did exactly in this entire application. But for this case, things are different, because this entire application, we need to store data using the JSON format, which is a format that looks like this. So it's just a key value format. But if we just try store this format, we're gonna see an error. For example, if I just try store this real format that I just need, so I'm gonna check if it is stored as well. Okay, so let's give it a try. You see, we just do the .get item, we just get the name. Now you see that we're just getting the object, and this is the wrong result that we're expecting, right? But I'm gonna show you the best way you can use to just store it correctly. So it's just very simple. We need to do the same thing, but remember to just make this, to convert this into a string, to just prevent the mistake that we just got earlier. So down here, so we need to just enclose this into quotes using quotes. We use single quotes because the double quotes have been used already, and then right here we just close it up like this. And now we can just store JSON, and then if you just do the get, now you see that we'll just get the real data, and the good thing is that we can just get this back into the JSON format that we can just interact with. So for this case, we're not going to do that manually, so we're going to do that using some method, for example, like JSON pass to just convert this into real JSON, or JSON stringify to just turn them into strings, right? Okay, that's very simple. Now let's get into the app. So in this entire app, I've used only 2 files. There's the first one to mount the database, and there's another one for the entire application. Now let's start the process on how I did everything. So the first thing I did was designing this UI. So I used Tailwind CSS to design this UI. So if you're new in Tailwind CSS, just find out some new tutorials and go to Tailwind documentation. It's really best flexible CSS framework. Okay, I just designed the application and there were no functionalities down here, so just designing the application, these divs and tables, but these functionalities weren't included because I'm going to explain everything from scratch. Okay, now you see we just get our design. So after designing this entire application, as you can see right here, so the next thing I did was to make this work. So the first thing I did, I needed to create a logic to interact with the local storage aside. So because I don't want to make my application so complex, I just needed to just do that aside in a local db.tsx file. Okay, so this local.tsx file contains a class, exports a class, and then this class already does is just defining some method. For example, this method is called the save student, which is used to initialize the student. the student's item in the local storage and then assign it to the students that have been provided as well. And in the app, we do have something to interact with that. It's just very simple. So all we did right here, we just check if the local storage has no students already. So we just need to just do the local storage dot save students, and then we just make it empty because there's no students in here. And now the students have been stored. Now there's get students, which is a method used to get all the list of students. As I showed you before, we just use local storage dot get item, and then we just get all the data from this item and then do the JSON parse to just convert them into real JSON, because the JSON that we just had in there has been stringified. Okay. After that, the next thing we do, we just define our states. So these states, all these states are doing is just storing the students, the list of students, and then also storing the change. So this is for managing the change, and all we'll be doing, I'll be showing you that after. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you the other methods that are included in this DB first. There is get students, there is make ID, which is the logic for generating the IDs, and there is delete student. And this delete student is used to delete a single student using the student is ID, and then there is add student, and which has the logic to add a new student. The first thing it does is generate the ID, and then we just get the list of all students, and then we push a new student in the list of all students, and then we just save the list again. And there is update student, we just get the list of all students, and then we just update the student that we just want to update. And once that is ready, so we just save it again. So the logic here, I think it's clear. So the first thing we do is we just do the get students, then we just map the whole list of students, and then we check in case where the student ID is equal to the ID that we just got from the student we need to update. And then all we do is just assigning his daughter to the student update, to the updated student, and else will just remain the same as it was. So that's the logic behind this. And now after this we're done, we return one as a success message for our application. And I think this is already clear. Now let's go to the app. Okay, so if we just try going through this code, this is gonna be looking bored, but I want to explain you the whole process, how things start. Okay, the first thing is displaying the contents in the table, which is the first thing we just does. And the way to do this, first of all, we need to import the storage from the local DB, and then after importing the storage, so we need to get the list of all students using this. We do the const storage.get students, and then we do storage.get students. If it does not exist, we just assign it to the empty string. And the things that this should be go above this one like this. And now this is good. And the next thing we need to do, so after getting the list of those students, we store it in a state called students. And once it's stored, we need to go into our table to generate the laws. So the table laws, we do the student.map, and then we just get the student, a single student, and then we just get the index number, the index of the student, for us to generate these IDs you're seeing over here. And then we just get the student.name, email, age, and the next we need to just explain the logic for this button. So the first button was edit, and the logic for this one is that whenever we just want to edit a student, we need to set the state called edit to the student data, and then his data will be pressed in here. As you can see, if I click here, the data will be inserted in here in real time. And this is the logic we will see here, updating the state. And the next button is called delete. Okay, so the logic for deleting a student. For example, I just want to maybe let's add a new student. So we just add kk and then we just add gg.gmail.com and then we just add the age, for example 34, and then we just submit. And now we can just simply delete in real time. So the key logic behind this is that we're just using the storage.delete student, and then we do .id. But this will not update the table. For us to update the table, we need to use this logic called set change. So we just want to tell our application that we just got a new change, and to do this it's just quite simple. So all it does to set a new to just change the state of the change, and then once the state of the change will be changed, the use effect will just detect the change in real time and then get the update data. Then the table will be updated in real time. And one more thing I just want to show you. So you know the logic of editing, the logic of deleting, and how everything works. But there's some codes that you just want to understand. So I haven't like maybe explained all these codes what they are doing. So maybe as I said in before, so this code, all this code is doing, here we just have a state. So this state is called, this is a state used to handle like the edit. So if you just click here, so this state should be changed to the real ID and name, and so that it can be updated in this table. And wherever you type anything, we just update this state in real time. But in case the ID is still 0, this means that we don't want to update. All we need is just to create a new user, and that's the logic. So because I do have a single table that is handling everything, I'm going to show you the logic that I'm using to just handle this table as well. So here's the thing. So this form has onSubmit action, which is assigned to the handle form, and handle form is just a method, or we just call it a function. And here's what is in handle form. So in handle form, we just do the event to prevent defaults. What are we preventing? So the default behavior for this form is that when you just click on submit, the whole page will be loaded. And once the whole page is be loaded, we just miss the data that have been pressed in here. And that's why we need to just prevent that default behavior. And the next thing is that here, we need to just get the form data. So I would probably get this using the state, but for this case, I decided to just get it from the form data. And then after getting this from this form data, so this would be like a complex data structure, and I just needed to transform this into JSON format, which is simple for me to just read, which is something like this one. Okay, like this one you see over here. And using the object.from entities, from entries, and then passing the form data, I will just get the format that I just needed. As you can see, I'm just doing the console log, the data that I'm just getting after transforming them, and I'm going to show you how it looks like. Okay, so let's simply do the inspect, and we go on console, and then we just try to create a new data. So for example, if I just do my name and then I just add the email. Okay, so here it is, and then I just add an age 34, and then we just do submit, and now you see that we just got the object, but ID is missing. So if the ID is missing, this means that we need to create a new user. That's the logic behind. As you can see here, I am just checking that. So I'm just checking the action. So const action is equal to the student.id. So in case the ID is a variable, we just do the update. And in case the student ID is missing, so this is like the if else. If in the case that is true, we just do the update, and in case the ID is missing, we just do the add new student. And now we just check if this has passed, if action, and as I told you before, this update is turning 1 and the add is turning 1. So this means that in case we just get the return of 1, this means that they have been successfully created or updated, and then we just set the change. We just set the change. This means that we need to refresh this table. So what will happen if you don't do this? So let me just show you this in action. So if you just try delete this, or just maybe comment it out like this, and then we'll just save. So And if you try edit something, we're not going to see the update in real time as we've been seeing that before. Okay, so let's try edit. For example, I just edit this and I just make it maybe .cc, and I should see the .cc right here. So if I just submit, so it has been submitted, but I cannot see any change. But if I try the load, I will see the change. You'll see the change have been seen as long as I just reload. But to just prevent this, I need to use this set change, which will be helping me to update this use effect, to run this use effect, and then we just do the set student. We just update the student from the local storage, and now we just get the real update using this set change method or state. So if I just change it to com and now I do submit, and then I submit as well, I'm gonna see the change in real time. Okay, so guys, I'm going to tell you that this is the end of our session, and I hope you just understood something. And of course, if you need this quote, you can just get it from my GitHub account. So let's go right into my GitHub profile and then get that. So here's my GitHub profile. So you just want to get there, and then you just get this whole application and then use it while learning. Okay, so now we just after waiting, so you see that I just got 44 repositories. The repository name is, I'm going to show this here below. So it's the, okay, so it's this one. It's called the React LocalStorage. If you just get into the app, you're going to see the same code that I was viewing. So go there and just download your code, do the npm install, and then you're gonna get this app for free. So thanks for watching. So if you're new here, so make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos like this. And then if you're already been here, so make sure you all add like this video, make your comments to tell me what you need next. And guys, what I can say lastly, so thanks for watching and have a good day.